Batch of 24 buns for $2.99. They were $3.98, so they're $1 off. What am I going to do with these? I am going to make sloppy joes. You can do any number of things, so 24 buns for $3 is a really good deal. Okay, so I've got my hamburger that was frozen right here in my pan. I'm going to put a little water in here to frost it and get my sloppy joes made. Why do I cook my frozen hamburger in the pan? Just so I don't have to dirty another bowl to defrost it in the microwave. This video is brought to you by our Dining on a Dime cookbook. We have quick and easy recipes your family will love to help you get in and out of the kitchen fast. Please visit us at livingonadime.com if now. Today we are making our slow-cooked pot roast This is the absolute perfect pot roast you will ever eat. If you have to use a knife to cut your pot roast, you are cooking it wrong, and I'm going to show you the right way to cook it today. I got this pot roast buy one get one free, so it was $3.50 a pound, $7 for this pot roast, and I will get at least 3 meals, possibly 4, depending on how many of my family members are home eating. They come and go. So let's get started. Now, this one is completely frozen. Now, this one is a beef bottom round rump roast. Now, to tell you the truth, I never, ever, ever look to see what kind it is. I just look to see if it's a roast. And if it's a chuck roast, bottom round, to me, it doesn't matter. I just cook it all the same, and it all turns out the same, okay? So now this one is straight out of my deep freeze. I'm gonna peel off the absorby thing. Now, if it doesn't come off straight away, just run it under some warm water and it'll pop right off. Then I'm going to set it in my pan. And I like to put the fat side up, that way the fat runs down into the meat. Then I take and liberally season it with my seasoned salt. Take my onion and put my onion in here. Now, this is slightly different than the recipe in our cookbook because I'm gluten-free, dairy-free. So this is the gluten-free, dairy-free edition for me. Now, normally if I can, I will put my onions on top, but that's not gonna work this time. So what I'll do is let my roast cook for a little bit, and then I'll put the onions on top. Then I'm going to add 2 cups of water, and that's it. Then I'm going to cover this with foil, and I am going to put it in my oven to cook. This recipe is in our Dining on a Dime cookbook, Volume 1, on page 234. I have adapted it by leaving out the cream of mushroom soup because I happen to be gluten-free, dairy-free. But if you like cream of mushroom soup, it makes a great gravy for your roast. You can get it at livingonadime.com. Now for the weekday, what I do is if my pot roast is frozen at between 6 and 8 o'clock in the morning, I will put it in the oven for 1 to 2 hours at 350 degrees, and then I will turn it down to 170 to 200 degrees and let it cook until 5 or 6 at night. Now this pot roast was about this thick, so it was super thick in the center. So what I did was I cut it in half and put the 2 halves in the juices, and then I turned the heat back up to 350, and it should be done in time for dinner. This is a very forgiving recipe, so don't freak out. If your timing's not right, check it about 2 hours before you want to serve it, and if it's not starting to shred and come apart, then just turn your heat up to 300 or 350 degrees, and that should get it cooked the rest of the way so it's nice and tender. So you can see here I cut it in half about 2 hours before, and your meat should just start flaking apart, just like that. That's how you know it's ready. If it doesn't start just coming apart, put it back in the oven for another half an hour to an hour, and then check it again. You can also spoon some of the juices over the top, and that will make it juicier. You want to get your chicken out of the package, drain your extra juices off in the sink. Then you want to take out the insides. My chicken is still a little frozen, wrong side. So then what we're going to do is we are going to take, and inside the cavity, we're going to take our seasoned salt. You do not need to wash your chicken before you cook it. All that does is splat chicken germs all over your kitchen, and no self-respecting germ would live to the proper cooking temperature. So you don't need to worry about it. Now, I stuff as many onions as I can inside, along with my seasoned salt, and then I just place the rest of them around my chicken. Then all I do is put this in an oven at 275 degrees and let it cook all day long for 5 to 8 hours, depending on when your dinner is. Baste occasionally every 1 to 2 hours if you want, or just the hour before it's ready, that's fine. If you want, you can throw some potatoes or carrots in with this the hour before it's done also. That's how simple it is. Let me get this in the oven and I'll show you what it looks like. If you're worried about your chicken being done, just put a meat thermometer in it. It needs to be 165 degrees or more. You don't need a meat thermometer though to check and see if it's done. All you have to do is put in a fork and see how easily that just falls apart. Then you know your chicken is done, safe to eat. If you're not quite ready for dinner and your chicken is all nice and golden, just turn your heat down to 170 degrees to keep it warm and basting it every 30 minutes to an hour. You have beautiful roast chicken. The recipe is in the description below. Please visit us at livingonadime.com. Don't forget to clean anything that has chicken juice on it with a little bit of bleach water or rubbing alcohol. All right, so we've got our jumbo biscuits, Grand's biscuits. I just get the off-brand, woo, whatever you want. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna roll out your biscuit and just get it a little bit bigger. Doesn't have to be huge. Just like so. Now you're going to do that with all 10 biscuits. Okay, so you're going to roll it out, put it in an greased muffin tin. Then, this is my hamburger that I pre-cooked. I pre-cooked 5 pounds of hamburger at a time, and then I put it in little baggies and freeze them, and then I already have pre-ground hamburgers. So this dinner literally takes me 5 minutes prep time, okay? Then in each biscuit, we're going to put a little bit of hamburger in each one. Now, if you want, you could add spaghetti sauce. You could use pepperoni. You could use sausage. You could make a vegetarian one where you just put onions and green peppers and mushrooms. You could do an Alfredo sauce, a pesto sauce, any combination that you want. Then you're going to top it with cheese. Place them in a greased muffin tin at 350 degrees for 20 minutes. If you're using a dark coated pan like the one I have here, you need to turn your temperature down to 325 degrees. Otherwise, it will burn the bottoms of your cheeseburger bowls. And there are my cheeseburger bowls. So in your breadcrumbs, you want to add seasoned salt. And if you would like, you could add some paprika or some taco seasoning, chili powder, anything like that. Okay, so now these are super thick chicken breasts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and cut them in half just so they don't take so long to cook. Then what you're going to do is generously coat your chicken with oil. I don't put the oil in a pan. I just sprinkle a little on and then I just twist all the chicken around and get it well coated. Some people will fill their bowl with oil and then dip it all in and then you have all this oil wasted. But see, this way you have very little waste. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take your chicken and you're going to dip it in your breadcrumbs just like so. Put it in your air fryer. Then we're going to fry this for 7 minutes. Turn it over, fry it for 3 to 4 more minutes. If you're wondering if the chicken is totally done, take the thickest piece of chicken and run a thermometer, and it should be at least 165. This recipe, I have my cornstarch, my flour, and my seasoned salt in my bowl. I'm going to take my chicken, dip it in my egg, then I'm going to coat it in my flour mixture. Make sure it's well coated. Then I put them on a plate and spray one side really well with cooking spray. Then place the cooking side spray upside down in your air fryer. Then we're going to spray the other side with cooking spray. All right, if you want to make sure your chicken is done, just put in a meat thermometer and it needs to be 165 degrees. Mine's done. We're going to put it on our plate. We have yummy chicken nuggets.